can't sleep, trapped in my own mind. Anxiety. Drowning in the darkness, just can't see the light. Depression. Doubtful, insecure, can I really do this? Imposter syndrome. I'm alone, unloved, just feel invisible. That's loneliness. We're not therapists, but we need one.
Hello, and welcome to We're Not Therapists, but we need one.
The podcast where we have honest and vulnerable conversations about our mental health with one another.
I'm Jay,
And I'm Anthony, and neither of us are therapists.
but we're trying to help ourselves and each other by sharing our experiences and feelings.
In this show, we'll deep dive into topics like anxiety, depression,
Self-esteem, trauma, and more.
we'll talk about how they affect us,
How we cope.
and what we've learned along the way.
We're not doing this to bash or blame anyone.
Especially our families, who may have contributed to our mental health challenges,
We're doing this to heal and grow.
and hopefully inspire others who can relate and open your mind to your own healing.
We also want to warn you that this show may contain some sensitive and triggering content.
We'll be talking about personal and painful things that happen to us and how they still affect us to this day.
If you're not comfortable with that, or if you feel like you need professional help,
This show may not be for you, but
if you're ready to join us on this journey of self-discovery and self-improvement, we're glad to have you.
we're not experts, but we're honest and we're not alone.
Now, let's start the timer. Anthony, how do you feel today?
I am doing okay today. It is Joe and I's 7th wedding anniversary today.
Ooh,
I know.
happy anniversary. Isn't this the lace anniversary or something like
This
that?
is Copper.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, so I had to call the police on him. Sorry, the jokes are bad.
Yeah, they're terrible, and we should probably quit. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you're not wrong. But anyways, yeah, so we did, we both had to work today. We went to the gym after work, and then now I'm doing this, and he's off at choir, and it's just a busy day for both of us, and there's no way to avoid it. So we did we did our celebrating over the weekend. And yeah, we went kayaking yesterday. We went home and changed and went to this place called Bao Bao that's new in town that does it's bao, so it's dumplings. It's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
So went and got that with some ramen there because their ramen was also really good. And yeah, then we just sort of we went and checked out this used bookstore we've been meaning to check out, and it was really cool. And then we came home and just relaxed and enjoyed each other's company.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a really good day. And today's been busy, and yeah, just trying to get back in the swing of things from the 3-day weekend. I think I drank too much. And so today I felt like shit when I woke up, because I also think I may have knocked off my CPAP mask.
Been there.
Ugh, it is the worst. I felt so fucking gross. And anyway, so yeah, tonight taking it easy after this, and I'm doing some healthier meal prep, and yeah. So, how are you today, Jay? How's your day going?
I'm exhausted, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I had a busy, technically it was a busy 4 days, because Friday I finally closed on my house that I was selling.
Yay! Congratulations!
Thank you. And so, I can't. Oh, did you mute? Okay, sorry. I was like, I can't hear you. So I closed on the house, and I will tell you, last Thursday, right before closing, we had they had a walkthrough, and I guess there were two holes in the wall in the garage, in the drywall, and I don't know what was up, but their realtor threw a huge fit about it and was like, you need to send us $500 more for this repair, blah 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 blah. What? You didn't tell us about that. And I was like, they're on the inspection report.
I was like, how many inspections have been done at this point?
And so I told I told my realtor, who's also my friend, I said, you tell her if she wants to pursue this, I will send the money, but I'm going to go yank every free thing out of that house I left. All of the free bits of furniture, the big old giant wooden wall map that lady wants. I'm going to take all the light bulbs. I'm going to take the paint that was left over. I was like, I am going to be a petty, petty little bitch about this because I have been nothing but gracious to you, and I've lost money on some of this stuff. And I did it because I was being nice. And I was just like, you know what? I want to get rid of the house. Let's do it. And after I said that, everything went very smoothly. I had no problems.
Oh, obviously it did. What did you think she was going to just, like, get you for something?
Well, and so, like, I met the buyer at closing. And I was like, oh, that definitely was not the buyer pushing that because she loved the house and was so excited for it. And that realtor was spunky. And I was like, don't fuck with me.
That is so... Good God. I hate that. I don't know why realtors get the way they get sometimes. Some of them, not all of them. I do need to specify not all realtors are like that, but there are some that drive me insane.
Oh, man. But anyways, it got done, and I was extraordinarily happy for that. And then I spent this weekend treating myself and having good times with people. Except I'm real tired today, and I don't know if it's lack of sleep or if I'm coming down with something, but yeah.
So that was the other thing I was worried about is like maybe I'm coming down with something, maybe I'm getting sick, but I don't know. We'll see. My coworkers feel the same way, so maybe just everybody's having a weekend hangover.
Yeah, because, I mean, I was up watching the Game 4 Thunder game last night, and so I was up a little late doing that, which of course I'd had drinks, and also I was being a little dumb, and at my apartments we have a pool and hot tub and all that jazz. And we were in the hot tub and we had the bubbles running, and everyone's like, I don't think I really like the bubbles running. And so when they finally like timed out and went off, they said, nobody push the button. We don't want to go back. Well, the button was outside of the hot tub. And I, being the guy I normally am, was like, and I like started running out of the hot tub and I was going to go over there and like fake hit the button. Slipped and fell right when I got out.
That is incredible. I want you to know that's exactly what I was imagining would happen too.
Because my foot hit the slip or the little like smooth tile where it tells you the depth of the water, and I was like, whoo! And so like on my knee right now, I have this massive ass gash. I don't know why. It was so fucking funny to me. And everyone, like, the worst part about it is I know like one of these people for several months. Everyone else I've either just met or I vaguely know. And so everyone thankfully was super like funny and nice and concerned. And then now we'll joke about it. But God, I cannot get over how funny it was to me. But yeah, so that was my Monday night. And then I sunburned a little bit this weekend, which I'm sure people will notice in my video because Sunday I went to the arts festival, roamed around there, and realized I forgot to put on my face cream. So it's just been a fun little journey. But yeah, it definitely wore me out. And my pocketbook is a little worn out because, of course, as you well know, I have a sunglasses addiction. And as I've been doing big changes, I've been commemorating myself with buying sunglasses. And so I bought some this weekend.
I don't know how, that's got to be a topic for Beards and Sundries is an acceptable amount to spend on sunglasses, because yours and my idea of that is entirely different.
Oh, 100%. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I barely spend that much money on anything. I don't spend that much money on any item of clothing or accessory.
That's the only one I really go crazy for. And then, like,
I just can't. I can't do it. There's something in me, no matter how much money I have, that won't let me do it.
I get it. I should. I need it.
Yeah,
I
don't know. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was like, it's funny because, like, with cars, I'm very particular. I don't just go out and buy something super expensive or anything because I want my money's worth. And even when I'm buying sunglasses, I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get my addiction to these. I don't understand it because it, it's not like I care what people think I'm wearing.
So that's just it. It's not about that as much to me. It's more of like I just know how I am with things. I think the only time I've spent that much money on anything that was like a accessory was an Apple Watch,
Mm-hmm.
and that was functional. I mean, I did like track, my workouts and my health and stuff. But even that, I've stopped wearing because I got tired of notifications.
Oh
And I
yeah,
know you can turn them off, but like managing all that is insane. And I would just rather just not do it.
it's definitely how funny I've turned them off over the years. I'm just like, no, I don't care. You do not need to get me to stand up. You do not need to get me to go do this.
It's less about that and more about like messages from people and things like that. And like I am getting to
I'm
be expert level at ignoring things.
I'm certainly getting closer at removing that.
And I don't like it. I don't like that type of accessibility to myself. I don't like the idea of people being able to just like
What is it? Woody
ping
Harrelson
me.
doesn't even have a cell phone because he doesn't want to be readily available.
I mean, that's exactly it. I don't like the idea of it. And what it is, I know, is because I was readily available all the time at my last job, and I was constantly, and I mean constantly, getting contacted. And I had a bad boss. I had a boss who could not manage the way that she communicated. She had no idea how to communicate in a way that was consistent.
Yeah.
And that would be all good and well if that lack of consistency didn't lead to her being absolutely pissed off that we didn't see something or we didn't like read something at the time. And she
Right.
would send things in either like group me, or she would send text messages, or she would send emails, or she would send, like, we were a communications company, so we had like 1,000 different ways to get in touch, but those were the three main ones. And at one point I brought up, hey, we get a lot of information. We get a lot of information really fast. And that's the nature of the business. I understand. But if we could get information consistently, if it is, let's say it's vitally important, you're going to text us or call us. If it is pretty important, send it in group me. And if it's not important, send it in an email, because that's, the nature of the job was that we weren't by our computers most of the time.
Right.
And while we had smartphones, like we just weren't, often on them to check email, but we could check group me pretty quickly. Anyways, I just made recommendations and she wouldn't do it. And I think it was because I made the recommendation. I should have known better. I should have tried to lead her into thinking it was her idea.
Oh, of course.
But it was one of those situations where it was it was years. It was like 5 or 6 years I did that. And oh my God, it burned me out so hard on everything. And I mean, you know what? Let's deep dive into this right now, because this is a mental health podcast. And so listeners, things might get a little serious for a little while. That job and the following jobs, I worked for, you know what? Fuck it. I worked for Verizon. And that job made me want to kill myself a lot. And not in the haha, I'm joking way, in the what is the practicality of me driving off the bridge that's a mile north of my work type of way. It's the whole reason why I got on anti-anxiety and anti-depressant medication, because I realized I was having incessant thoughts of suicide, and they were intrusive, I guess would be the right word to use, because it wasn't like I was actively thinking of them. They would just pop up in my head. And I would be on the way to work in near tears because of this fucking job, and thinking that there was no other option, thinking I had no way out of it, and like not seeing that there was another way. And I gotta tell you, that is not a good way to live life.
Mm-mm.
And I just that I, I think what really got me about it and what kept me there, and I've noticed it in other people that I still know that work there. Not all of them. Some people really got it figured out, but it's a mentality that there is no other option. It's nobody's going to treat you as good as we treat you. It's a really like toxic relationship. And
Hmm.
you do carry relationships with your job. You do carry relationships with things that are not just people. And man, every time that job had me where if I was working, I was working. If I wasn't working, I was probably drinking. And it was just God, it was just so miserable. I just fucking ugh. And I eventually I took some time off. I took short-term disability leave because my psychiatrist recommended that I do it and signed it and did the whole thing. And so I took a month off and I was just like telling her, like, I'm just dreading going back. I don't want to do it. It's every time I think about it, my nerves get shot. Like I'm getting super anxious. And so she recommended that I go to an intensive outpatient program for mental health here at a place called Laureate in town. And I did that for 5 weeks. And
Mm.
oh, God, it was so helpful. I know there's probably still some stigma around inpatient, outpatient things like that and programs, but I don't know that I would be alive today without that program.
Exactly. I was like, the stigma is all around the fact that, mental health has been criticized for so long time. So, and I think the
Yeah.
people that go to it are, especially that uh, what's the word I'm trying to think of?
Admit,
Yes, thank you. I was like, I admire that because you're like, hey, I recognize something here.
I have a quick question that is not related to this, and then we will go right back to talking about it. Can dogs eat raw chicken? Surely yes, right?
I remember reading that they really shouldn't because of bacteria potential.
Well,
But
that could be fun for me later because I accidentally dropped a piece, and my dog, who is a fucking vacuum, just horked it up before I even had a chance to stop him.
but I also think that's not like a guarantee. Like it could happen because
Okay, well,
I know that my dogs growing up chewed on raw chicken bones. So
yeah. Okay, well, we'll see what happens.
just don't drop a grape.
That I know better than to do. I'm not so laissez-faire with grapes around here or anything
I
with
know.
some alcohol.
I was like, I feel like I like am super cautious with grapes.
Yeah, those get like, yeah, there's a process for grapes in this household.
Yeah.
Um, but anyways, yeah, so man, that had me always on. It was constant. I didn't know where anything was ever going to be. My life was so much chaos all the time. And I thought I was dealing with it well because I was making money and I had great benefits. I thought I was doing well. I thought it's kind of just how life was.
Yep. Well,
And then
that's how it goes.
yeah, well, it was just, I don't know. It was so awful. And it was really the suicidal thoughts that got me because whenever I was a kid, about 5, my mom attempted suicide by taking a lot of pills. And she ended up having to go. She was actually committed because of that. Because, she tried to commit suicide.
Yeah.
And so she went through this whole program. I don't know if it was Laureate, but it was here in Tulsa. And she always had this huge stigma about her mental health because she was on antidepressants and things like that. And she would always joke about it as if it was a negative thing. Like if she joked about it that way, that the people who stigmatized it would be more accepting of her, I guess. And I don't know. So, anyways, the point is that I was trying to keep an eye out for it in myself because I knew it was, genetic, and I didn't want to find myself in that same spot, which I did anyways. But I didn't end up committing suicide, obviously, or trying to commit suicide.
If so, then this is really awkward.
Yeah, I know, right? but it was that, and then one of my best friends from when I was growing up, about, gosh, it's been almost 10 years now. It was 9 years ago. He did commit suicide, and it was just a surprise to everybody. As it always is with people who really are, intent on it. And it was one of those things where I don't know. I carry that around with me a lot because I do think of him quite often. Actually, funny enough, I've got a Pez dispenser over here that's sitting next to my car keys that I need to take with me next time I go visit my grandma because he's buried like a mile away. And so that goes on his grave. So it still comes to mind a lot.
Yeah.
And those are things that keep me grounded in, how did that impact me? How did that impact his family? It was just so wild.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And you go through all those different stages of like, how could he have done this and blah, blah, blah. But when we went, the day that we found out that it happened, the day of it happening, this day his family found out, we went to see them. And it was me and my other two best friends from childhood because we grew up together. We were just all inseparable. And his mom had us read the suicide note. And she was obviously in a state, but like she kept saying it didn't sound like him. It didn't sound like him. And I read that thing. I was like, this sounds exactly like him.
Yeah.
And I think that's what so distressing is like, if that was the case, how long had this been going on? And he just felt like he couldn't talk to anybody or he felt trapped and this was the only way out.
Yeah.
And of course I didn't say that to her. I would never because
right.
That's not my place. But it was just, I don't know. Anyways, those things stuck with me. And so when I started experiencing that with my work and with my life, I say quickly, it took me years, but I once I realized it was happening, that was when I was like, you know what, you need to get better help than just drinking and trying to shove it all down because that's not working.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that is why I am still here today, is because I decided that, I probably wasn't alone or as alone as I felt. And I really needed to get out of my own head for a little bit.
I mean, I get it. I didn't reach that level, but I was scared I was going to reach that level because I was pretty unhappy at my last job. And I worked with some...
push myself too hard.
I just need to pull myself up by the bootstraps.
Oh, God. No. I said I tend to push myself too hard.
Oh, no. And then I said, yeah. And then I just need to pull myself up by the bootstraps.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. That's what everybody tells you. Just leave it. You just got to leave that at the door. Just leave it at the door. Don't bring that in here.
You can't let emotions just get in the way. It's a job. And I'm like, but it occupies a very large portion of my life. And society requires me to do it to survive. So.
Yep. There's this huge stigma around work in the U.S. and it's so crazy to see how laissez-faire people are about it whenever it comes time to worry about the individual and not the workplace.
Mm-hmm. And I was so miserable. And it was so unfortunate because I worked with so many good people, but I was miserable. So I finally got to the point where I was like, I've got to do something. I've got to make change or else I don't know what could happen since I'm this miserable.
Yeah.
And I remember telling my friends, I said, I want you to know there's absolutely no reason to be concerned that I say this. But I'm like, I understand why people get to the point where they feel like they need to commit suicide. And I said, because you feel like you're trapped in this same routine that you can't get out of. And I said, and it's so difficult to see an exit. And Reggie, what are you doing? And so I finally was like, I have to make change. And I did, and I'm thankful I did. I made a lot of change, and it's been extraordinarily beneficial to my life. But hold what was the other part of that? I told them that I understand. Oh, and so I was like, what happens is it was at the time when I was still in my last relationship with the guy I, had a good relationship with, even though we had still had challenges.
Yeah. Well, I
I
mean,
was
every relationship has challenges.
I was still at my job. Uh, I was still like trying. I had not moved out of my house yet and made that change, and everything. And I'd had these jobs that were like almost about to hire me, and then would last second be like, you know what, we're gonna do it this way. So sorry. And it felt like I was trapped in a like brick wall, almost a room with no ceiling of brick wall, and I was able to find ways to climb and almost get out. And right when I was about to grip that top ledge, I would slip and fall and just feel like I was stuck right back there. And it was so, oh my God, it was so depressing. And so I finally was like, fuck it. What changes do you need to make? What ones can you control right now? And so that's when I was like, I'm going to sell the house. I'm going to move out. This house holds a lot of memories for me that I don't want anymore. I was with my ex the entire time here, my bad one. And I don't want to do it. I know. I hate when I'm like, I have my bad ex and my good ex.
Well,
But,
I mean, it's true.
but, yeah, I was like, I don't want to hold these memories anymore. I did everything I could at that house to change it too. Like I remodeled, I did all sorts of stuff. And so I can't tell you how whenever I like finally closed on that house, how so much of that just went away.
I believe it. There's a lot that goes in there. There's so much stress to owning a home. And don't misunderstand me. I mean, owning a house, it's basically a privilege at this point.
Alexa, stop. Yeah,
But
I benefited greatly. I got a lot of equity out of it. It helped me, but
right.
I do not regret that.
No, which I get it. I mean, we we want to move to Minneapolis, obviously, and I think we're thinking of doing a similar thing to what you did, which is go to like apartment or condo life.
Well, it's just so much easier to, I don't know, realize that if you purge your house and purge all that stuff, the freedom to go do what you want is so much more relaxing. So it's just kind of like, you know what? Like right now, I don't have the burden of responsibility. I could tomorrow go buy something new if I wanted, but I'm not going to right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
It-
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I get it though, because that shift is a little expensive. You guys could do it a little differently, so it's not costing quite as much. Where
Yeah.
you like sell the house and then go grab your apartment or whatever in a certain time frame. I moved out early because I didn't want to show it with the dogs or the cats.
Well, and we've got friends who have offered to let us stay with them in Minneapolis until we find a place. So, we could make it a little bit easier on ourselves. And we know friends who have, space to do stuff like that, where it's not everybody cramped in a small living space.
Yeah, all you have to do is a pod or something like that, and
Yeah, exactly.
move all your shit, or do what I did and purge so much that you just do all new when you get up there.
I mean, that's kind of what we did when we moved to Tulsa years ago, is we just got rid of everything. Now, there's some stuff that I can't get rid of because it's expensive and I don't want to.
Don't get me wrong. I have a storage unit because I didn't want to get rid of like my shop vac and all of my tools and just a few house items. And I'm like, I don't want to get rid of this. So I made ways to store it. But, yeah, most of my house stuff I just got rid of. Besides the things that I still would use on a regular basis, like all my entertainment centers. I did get rid of one old TV, though.
Yeah. We got rid of a lot of stuff when we moved here, but like I don't know, TVs are a little more disposable than they used to be.
Oh my God, so much more.
Yeah. But it's the bed that's the big one. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's those type of life changes that are so hard to make. And we get so scared of making them and they make us feel trapped like that. It was, for me, it was work because I don't have a degree. So I was so fucking terrified. Like, what am I going to do for work? Nothing's going to pay me this much without a degree. Like, even my boss, the last boss I had there, said to my face and a couple of my coworkers' faces that he wasn't concerned about any of us leaving because only like one of us had a degree. And he said it in a malicious way. And I was like, whoa. But that was the mentality.
Actually, so we have a minute left, and I want to get into something else in next week's episode. But before we go, I'm going to ask you, what are you making?
Oh, I'm meal prepping. So I'm making some diced chicken, some roasted veggies, and I got rice that just finished here a little bit ago.
Oh my gosh.
So these are for my lunches.
So these are for my dinner, but I'm meal prepping also, and I just finished my rice, and then I did it's a honey sriracha chicken, and then it's fresh veggies of like broccoli, carrots, and bell peppers and cucumbers.
I do frozen veggies because every time I buy fresh veggies, I have great intentions, and they almost never get used. I've been doing
That's too bright.
But
I'll do this one. Which I'm using this homemade or this local honey that I got, and it's citrus hot. Like I taste tested it before I bought it, and it's so good.
Nice. It does. You were telling me about it earlier, and it does sound really good.
Oh man, I taste tested his bourbon one. I was like, I did this one. I was like, I want this one.
This is it. Do you have Alexa going off? I feel like it's been going off for a hot minute.
Oh, is it? I thought I stopped it. Alexa, stop. I thought I shut it off.
Imagining that for a minute. Anyway,
sorry,
listeners. Come back next week when there will be less Alexa going off.
Yeah, there's going to be way less Alexa noises.
We will see you in a week.
And we're out of time.
Thank you for joining us today on our show. As you can see, therapy is not always easy, but it can be very rewarding and healing.
If you want to follow our journey and see how we progress, tune in next episode for the continuation of We're Not Therapists, but We Need One.
Join us on our socials, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, and Instagram, and email us at nopenotttherapists@gmail.com.
That's NOPENOTTHERAPISTS
We would love to hear your thoughts on our journey, or any questions you have that we can help answer. Until then,
stay safe.
Mental health is a serious and important issue that affects millions of people around the world.
If you or someone you know is struggling with depression, anxiety, trauma, or have any other mental health conditions, you're not alone, and there is help available.
You don't have to suffer in silence or feel ashamed of your feelings.
There are many resources and support networks that can help you cope and heal.
Here are just a few.
The Crisis Text Line, which is a 24/7 service that connects you to trained crisis counselors who can help you with any type of emotional crisis. You can text HOME to 741-741 in the US or Canada, or 85258 in the UK, or 50808 in Ireland. You can also visit crisistextline.org for more information.
The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which is a 24/7 service that provides free and confidential support for people in distress, as well as prevention and crisis resources. You can call them at 1-800-273-8255 or chat online at suicidepreventionlifeline.org.
The Headspace app, which is a meditation and mindfulness app that can help you reduce stress, improve your mood, and enhance your well-being. The app offers guided meditations, breathing exercises, sleep sounds, and other tools that can help you relax and cope with your emotions. You can download the app for free and try it for 10 days or subscribe for unlimited access to all features. You can find the app on the App Store or Google Play, or visit headspace.com for more information.
These are just some of the resources that we have found helpful, but there are many more out there that can suit your needs or preferences. The most important thing is to reach out for help when you need it, and to know that you are not alone. Mental health is not a weakness, but a strength, and taking care of it is one of the best things you can do for yourself and your loved ones. Until next time.